On July 14, 1994, frightened families began pouring across the border from Rwanda into Goma, in what was then called Zaire, and is now the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Between July 14 and July 17, hundreds of thousands arrived. They came carrying children, cooking pots, family photographs, and whatever remained of the lives they had left behind. They had escaped genocide. They had escaped war. They had escaped roads where neighbors disappeared and families were torn apart. They believed that reaching Goma meant they had reached safety. But safety was not waiting for them. The land quickly disappeared beneath overcrowded camps. Families slept beside strangers. The weak rested beside the sick. The thirsty stood in long lines holding empty containers. There were too few shelters. There were too few medical workers. There were too few latrines. There was not enough clean drinking water. On July 20, 1994, the first cholera case was diagnosed in Goma. The water had not been deliberately poisoned. No one had secretly placed poison inside the cups. The truth was different, but no less terrible. Severe overcrowding, inadequate sanitation, too few latrines, and the shortage of clean water allowed human waste to contaminate some of the water people depended upon. That contaminated water carried cholera bacteria. It also carried organisms associated with dysentery and other deadly illnesses. The water looked harmless, but it was contaminated. The water carried deadly disease. A mother could not see the bacteria inside the cup. A father could not smell the danger. A thirsty child could not understand that something necessary for life could also carry death. They drank because they were thirsty. They drank because their bodies needed water. They drank because many of them had no safer choice. Between July 21 and July 27, 1994, the outbreak spread with terrifying speed. One person became sick, then another. One family fell, then another family. People who had survived violence began collapsing from infection and severe dehydration. Medical workers moved from one suffering person to another. They lifted the weak. They searched for medicine. They tried to provide clean water. They worked while thousands called for help. But the disease moved faster than assistance could reach the sick. On July 26, 1994, the cholera outbreak reached its peak. That is the date we remember, not because the suffering began on that day, not because the suffering ended on that day. We remember July 26 because it became one of the darkest moments in a catastrophe that claimed almost 50,000 lives during its first month. Someone must speak for the dead. Someone must speak for the mother who carried her child across the mountains, only to watch that child become sick inside the place she believed would protect them. Someone must speak for the father who searched through rows of tents, calling the names of people who would never answer him again. Someone must speak for those who died before their names could be written down. Someone must speak for those who were buried far from home. The world received numbers, thousands displaced, thousands sick, thousands dead. But numbers cannot show a face. Numbers cannot describe a final embrace. Numbers cannot tell us what a person loved. Numbers cannot reveal the empty place left inside a family. Every number was a human being. Somebody's mother, somebody's mother, somebody's father, somebody's husband, somebody's wife, somebody's sister, somebody's brother, somebody's brother, somebody's child, somebody's entire world. Do not remember them only as refugees. Before they became refugees, they were farmers, they were teachers, they were builders, they were traders, they were healers, they were singers. They carried village memories, wedding songs, family histories, prayers, laughter, and unfinished dreams. They did not choose displacement. They did not choose overcrowding. They did not choose contaminated water. They were forced into conditions where even the simple act of drinking became dangerous. The deaths were not proof of weakness. The deaths revealed what happens when war, displacement, poor sanitation, inadequate preparation, delayed assistance meet in the same place. The title, When the Water Turned Bitter, is not an accusation of deliberate poisoning. It is a metaphor. It means that something created to sustain life became a source of suffering. It means that the water looked harmless, but carried deadly disease. It means that people who had already lost their homes were placed in conditions where survival itself became dangerous. Goma teaches us that war does not end when people cross a border. It follows them as hunger. It follows them as homelessness. It follows them as sickness. It follows them as sickness. It follows children who grow up without parents. It follows parents who survive without their children. Clean water is not a luxury. Sanitation is not.
Before this voice leaves you, listen carefully. This is not ordinary entertainment. This is voice, rhythm, spirit, wisdom, and awakening. We Movement is building sound for the mind, fire for the spirit, and thunder for the people. But if you do not subscribe, this may be the last We Movement voice you hear. Not because the voice will stop speaking, but because the world is too noisy. The next message meant to lift you may never reach you. So subscribe now.